They put a lot of ordnance on that thing that they can 25 miles.
The Sidewinder had 25 miles worth of range.
The big Phoenix was like 90 miles total. That's why they built the F-14, was to put the Phoenix missiles on it.
But the F-16s can be found all over Europe and Asia as well?
Yeah. Japan's got them. Netherlands has got them. Like I say, Belgium, Germany's got them. I don't know what France does. I don't have them here. And New Jersey's over here. This is Newark and
Jersey
City. Bayonne is down a little bit farther across the Empire State from the Statue of Liberty. If you look, Jerry, right straight down, you can see the Statue of Liberty's arm sticking straight up. You see it way out there?
John, I am this side.
You see the pipe, what it looks like it comes out and goes down? You see the Statue of Liberty standing?
This is a MiG-15.
Yeah, this is the 15, and that's the 17.
And these were flown during the Korean War?
Yeah, this one was the first first Soviet fighter, jet fighter, that we run into in the Korean War.
Now, weren't the P-51s, were we flying 51s during the Korean War too?
We were, it started, but we had the F-86 Sabre is what fought mostly this. They had the F-84, F-80 Shooting Star, F-84.
And how did they compare with these MiGs?
The F-80 and F-84s didn't do worth a hoot against the MiGs. The F-86 Sabre fought it. They were swept back wings just like this, and the kill ratio was like 12 to 1 or something like that. It was, we killed 12 MiGs for every one they shot us down. But this was a Korean War, and this was a little later in the Korean War. Vietnam era was the 17. Late Korean War into the Vietnam War was the 17.
And all these are sitting on the flight deck, not on the flight deck, but on the top deck of the Intrepid.
Yeah, on the flight deck. This is the flight deck.
This is the flight deck. We're also looking at
F-4 Phantom.
F-4 Phantom. That's what John McCain flew during the...
that's what he was shot down.
That's what he was shot down in. We just thought we'd take a look at this.
Very good.
But didn't they put... this is a Harrier, which is a Marine aircraft for the most part, or Navy?
Yeah, it's all Marine. Well, of course, Marine's part of
the Navy, right?
But they're all Marines because they use them on the Marine aircraft carriers, which are just helicopter carriers. But they put the Harriers on them.
We're here in New York City on the Intrepid. March 21st, 2009. That's the Captain's Bridge. Norwood Cruise Line ship. Enjoying one of the first spring days in New York City.
Awesome. Here's the captain's cup of coffee, and here be the captain.
This is John Zeek enjoying being the captain of the USS Intrepid. Admiral Zeek.
Admiral Zeek, yeah. Man, this is cool.
In charge of those 6 to 8 ships. This was your navigation bridge, where your captain would have been, who was in charge of the ship. When you look towards the top, it's like a control tower in an airport. That's where your air force was strictly in charge of all the aircraft. Now, if we ran into a combat situation, the Admiral would give the order to engage.
Did you serve on a similar ship?
On here and on the Bennington and the destroyer.
So you actually served on the Intrepid?
Yeah.
When was that?
52, 53. Korea and Vietnam, these ships sat 50 miles off the shore and the aircraft went in. We sat out there and waited for the planes to come back.
So this
wasn't
ship
like the Second World War.
This ship was in the Korean War then?
I was on the Bennington off of Korea.
Off of Korea.
Right. Okay. This was in the yards having the angled deck and a hurricane bow put on during Korea.
I see.
And then from there she went to Vietnam 3 times.
Now, the Intrepid was it sitting in about 6 feet of mud, and the tugs pulled it out when they, or how deep was it when they're trying to extricate it?
All right. They dredged out everything except behind the screws. Right? So they pulled it back 20 feet, and the screws dug into the mud, and we came to a dead stop. A week or two later, we had the Army engineers here. They blew away the 15, 20 feet behind the screws, and they pulled us right out.
How many screws in the aircraft here?
4.
4.
When you saw the screw on the hangar bay,
Yes.
there were 4 15-footers like that.
Wow.
We put out 150,000 horse. She goes 34 knots. That would be about 40 miles an hour.
And it's diesel, of course. Thank you very much.
It has to be done on this stuff.
And how big of a crew on the Intrepid?
Ship's company, 2,900, 600 aviation. That was 3,500 people. Actually, aviation's not part of the ship's company. They come and go. In other words, like 2 or 3 days before we sail, mechanics come aboard the ship with their tools or whatever they need. We pull out. Half a day later, the pilots fly planes aboard the ship. They stay with us for 6 to 9 months, and they reverse it. They fly off to land base, we dock, aviation leaves the ship.
Was there such a thing as a total aircraft capacity?
Well, we had Marine pilots, we had Navy pilots. Second World War, between 90 and 100 planes. Vietnam, between 50 and 65. Planes got bigger and heavier, so the numbers went down.
We're in one of the hangar decks. And John, what is this? It's a TBD?
It's a TBM. TBM. It's a Grumman torpedo bomber, 3-man crew. Carries a big torpedo that you see down there at the bottom. And they flew against the later battles of the Pacific. They didn't do the early battles like Midway. These were later planes built by Grumman.
So what they did is they flew out
Carrying
just a single torpedo?
Yep, just one torpedo in that bomb bay. And they would fly towards the enemy carriers and draw, or enemy cruisers, whatever, and open that bomb bay and drop that torpedo.
And this is the screw, 1 of 4 on the Intrepid. I think the man upstairs said there's 150,000 horsepower that the Intrepid developed to operate these 4 huge screws to propel it through the waters. Here we are still on the Intrepid, and we're looking at a British Airways Concorde, the fastest commercial airliner ever. It's all available on the deck of the USS Intrepid. So John, I can't think of that Englishman who sued BA, Richard,
I do not remember.
but he owns Virgin Airways, and he wanted to buy some of it. These are the avionics of the Concorde, and Sir Richard wanted to buy a couple and operate them, and BA wouldn't sell them to him. He successfully sued them for tens of millions of dollars for trying to do something to him, I think, in the 70s or 80s, but he's turned out to be a very successful entrepreneur.